This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
No Amber Alert. The family of two missing Pictou County children continues to question why no one issued an alert after their disappearance. Treating sepsis. Nova Scotia Health equips frontline caregivers with potentially life-saving tools. And turning off the taps. Why a new Bedford beer garden won't be opening this weekend.
Chance for showers overnight into early Saturday, but we're clearing quickly in what will be a terrific day before more showers Sunday. Your full forecast is coming up.
Family members of Lily and Jack Sullivan are still questioning why an Amber Alert was not issued when the children went missing. RCMP are now providing more details about why this tool wasn't used. The CBC's Nicholas Sagan reports.
For 7 weeks, Lily and Jack Sullivan's family has been wondering where they are, still questioning why an Amber Alert wasn't issued by police in early May.
They're just hinging everything onto, because nobody's seen them being put into a car or seen who grabbed them, and it's like, these are vulnerable kids.
Lily and Jack were reported missing from this rural Pictou County home on May 2nd. Family members say the 4- and 6-year-old both have potential autism, making them particularly vulnerable. Their mother has publicly called for an Amber Alert. So has their stepfather.
They shot down the idea of putting out an Amber Alert and having officers at New Brunswick and PEI borders and at the airports. Spare some officers. This is 2 missing children.
Amber Alerts are a public notification system used in Canada and the U.S. to help find abducted children believed to be in imminent danger. There were 8 Amber Alerts issued last year across the country, according to RCMP, but they have very specific sets of criteria.
When you send an Amber Alert, you want to direct the public to look for a specific vehicle, to look for that license plate, to look for that suspicious person, to have a photo of someone or more information to suggest that there was an abduction.
Tremblay says those details weren't available. 2 missing vulnerable person alerts were sent out instead.
To be clear, we don't have evidence to suggest that an abduction took place at this time.
But still, family members believe the kids aren't in the woods around the home, that searchers have scoured 3 times.
In my eyes, they're definitely not in the woods. I crossed that out long ago. They're not in that woods.
RCMP say many different options are still being looked at. They continue to receive tips and conduct interviews, and they're still looking for video footage from the area. And family members are still hoping for closure. Nicholas Sagan, CBC News, Halifax.
The province is continuing to push municipalities to get on board with plans to increase resource development. Finance Minister John Lohr says it's crucial for growing the economy, but he stopped short of saying what the consequences would be for municipalities that push back. Several municipalities recently asked the province to slow down on uranium exploration. The municipality of the district of Lunenburg has asked for the uranium ban to be reinstated.
We're just trying to explain the reality that we see, the need to grow our resource economy, to have money to do all of these things, and that means our municipalities have to be on side too.
Lohr's message is more restrained than what Premier Tim Houston said earlier this week, that if municipalities want money from the province, they must allow for more development. A 28-year-old man from Middlewood is dead following a single vehicle crash in Lunenburg County. RCMP said the crash happened on Italy Cross Road near Crosstown Road in Crosstown Thursday afternoon when the pickup truck left the road and ended upside down, submerged in a brook. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. The cause is still under investigation. Halifax Council has approved a plan that will guide growth for years to come. Dozens of residents weighed in on the regional plan Thursday. It changes a slew of bylaws and planning documents to prepare the region to support 1 million people. The CBC's Haley Ryan has more.
Halifax councillors have approved the new regional plan. It changes bylaws and planning documents across the municipality to eventually support 1 million people.
I love these changes. These are good changes for us.
The latest regional plan was adopted more than a decade ago, but Halifax's recent population boom led staff to revisit that. Staff project Halifax could hit that million mark by 2050 under certain immigration scenarios. The plan aims to have 75% of new development in the urban area, where water, sewer, and transit services exist. But many people raised concerns about two special planning areas in green spaces, where the province has taken over development, Sandy Lake and near Blue Mountain Birch Cove Lakes, where a national urban park is proposed.
Please stand up to the province. The province is building cities we don't want to live in. You don't have to let them do it.
We want you to reach out to us, and we'll, in any way, do what we have to do and say what we have to say to the province.
But Halifax's municipal lawyer told councillors they have no legal options to push back on the issue.
However, I'm glad that they were here and expressed that, and I'm hoping that filters its way back to Province House so that they know what our residents feel.
The plan had to include rules from the province removing bedroom unit requirements in new buildings for the next couple of years. Councillors say this will mean fewer 2- and 3-bedroom units for families or roommates.
The number one issue, the number one thing people want in Halifax right now is affordable housing. And this is going backwards. This is making housing less affordable.
Council asked staff to find a way to bring back bedroom requirements in the upcoming plan on suburban areas. Haley Ryan, CBC News, Halifax.
After several months of construction and a single weekend of slinging pints, a new beer garden along the Bedford Highway has had to shut off its taps indefinitely after failing to meet permit requirements. The owner says a lack of parking is the city's biggest concern. Danielle Edwards reports.
With local beer on tap and views of the Bedford Basin, the owners of this business say the spot is a prime location for nearby residents to relax and enjoy some good vibes. But after a successful opening weekend, the Bedford Beer Garden has hit a stopgap.
We've been kind of going back and forth with the city, reconfiguring the site plan to accommodate more parking spaces or enough parking spaces to accommodate the seating. The rule is 4 seats. You need to have 1 parking space on site. We had to have an engineer come in and finally draw it up, and then by HRM standards only fit about 5 parking spaces according to that latest site map.
Tony McCool is the business's co-owner. He says initially city staff had concerns about a site survey and property lines. It's only been in the last 6 weeks since concerns about parking were brought up.
And we also tried to, encourage people not to drive here, realistically. This is a beer garden. We don't want people to get, too deep into the beer. Driving isn't the greatest idea, so when we kind of look at the number one contention they have in us getting our occupancy, since it's parking spaces, was quite confusing to us.
McCool took to social media this week to ask residents to reach out to local councillor Jean Saint-Amand to voice their support. Saint-Amand says he's already received numerous messages.
Adjusting the amount of space that they occupy within the lot would create opportunity for more parking spaces, and that in effect would give them the ability to operate. It's a delicate balance because they'd be giving up space in order to make room for parking spaces.
McCool says he's reached out to an office building across the street to ask to use its parking lot after office hours and on the weekend. The municipality says it's up to the business owner to show the location meets requirements. Until the beer garden can make those changes, the taps will remain dry and the seats empty. Danielle Edwards, CBC News, Bedford.
And I'm guessing a few people were out on patios today, Ryan.
Yeah, that's right, especially across northern parts of the province, Amy, where temperatures were really warm. We hit 30 plus in Cape Breton and across parts of the North Shore up towards the Tatamagouche area and a couple of backyards there. And we're into the high 20s and a couple of low 30s in through the valley today as well. Much cooler along the Atlantic coastline. Now, the scene is going to change a little bit for tomorrow with the wind coming in from the west. And so we'll see, yes, kind of a more universal, nice, warm day. Temperatures into the low to mid 20s for most. Couple of isolated showers possible early Saturday morning for you folks in Cape Breton. And then, yeah, off to the races with a really nice day into the afternoon there as well. Showers on tap for Sunday into the afternoon. I think we'll see some sunshine before that system arrives on Sunday. As you can see here, clearing out nicely as that low departs. There's all the sunshine Saturday. That next system rolls in throughout Sunday with clouds and showers, talking heat and humidity, especially Tuesday of next week. We'll talk about that with your 7-day coming up.
All right, we sure will. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Frontline caregivers in some of Nova Scotia's emergency rooms now have a range of potentially life-saving tools to treat the illness sepsis. An action team has been working to put a number of improvements in place aimed at speeding up the treatment of the life-threatening condition. Gareth Hampshire has that story.
These are the kits now in use at 6 of Nova Scotia's hospitals, designed to provide a quick response for patients with symptoms of sepsis.
It contains our fluid, our lines, tourniquets, everything that we need.
Sepsis is caused by the body's overreaction to infection, and the risk of death increases every hour that treatment is delayed. So the kits have the supplies and instructions for nurses to move fast.
And it has proven that way. I've seen these used many times. People are grabbing for them instead of having to go pull things and getting pulled to different situations, and having everything kind of contained in one room.
Twin Oaks Memorial in Musquodoboit Harbour is one of the hospitals where they were first deployed, following work by a sepsis action improvement team. The team also developed a new care directive, allowing nurses to administer antibiotics without waiting for approval from a doctor.
Those leading measures of, time to antibiotic, we've seen a drastic improvement in that. And that's what ultimately saves lives at the end of the day.
Health system data and the health authority's own quality care reviews into previous cases showed the need for a different approach, she says. Gordon Moxham's case was one of those to be investigated, and his wife Karen still has questions about his treatment.
Just because of the way it happened, I feel if he had been given the care he deserved, he might be here, I don't know.
She had not even heard of sepsis when he got sick, initially with heart problems just over 2 years ago. She didn't know what symptoms to watch for and still doesn't think she was given enough guidance to catch things sooner.
It can happen so quickly. It's one of the top leading killers with cancer, with heart attacks, and nobody knows anything about it.
It's too late for her family, but she's hopeful the changes will save other lives.
I was glad to see that because I feel like I was a part of that by reporting what happened to Gordy, and I just hope it gets implemented province-wide.
That is what the team is looking at now as it aims to scale up its work throughout Nova Scotia. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Musquodoboit Harbour.
The Maritime Museum of the Atlantic is introducing a boat school to help meet growing demand for boat building and watercraft programs. The new building that houses the program is currently under construction along the Halifax waterfront. The design includes climate resistance features to help the building withstand hurricanes and sea level rise. The province says the expansion will help more young Nova Scotians learn valuable skills while keeping a proud maritime tradition alive. After 18 months of negotiating, Canada Post has reached a new collective agreement with its second largest union. The Canadian Postmasters and Assistants Association represents more than 8,500 employees, mostly in rural Canada. The deal includes an 11% wage increase over 3 years. Canada Post has yet to reach an agreement with the larger Canadian Union of Postal Workers. This may be the summer to visit some of Canada's top cultural and natural sites. Starting today, the federal government is offering discounts or free admission to numerous attractions. The so-called Canada Strong Pass is valid until September 2nd. It offers free admission to all National Historic Sites, parks, and marine conservation areas. There is free or reduced admission to national museums. There are also discounts for travel on Via Rail. Here's what some visitors to Citadel Hill National Historic Site today had to say about the free admission.
We were kind of just up here just to check it out, really, but we weren't actually sure if we were going to come in, but, had a talk with one of the staff here, and they're like, it's free, and I'm like, well, heck yeah, right?
Oh, I would have come anyway, whatever it was, because I wanted to see it.
The pass is available to all visitors, whether you live in Canada or come from abroad, and you don't need an actual pass. Just show up at a participating site to take advantage of the discounts. Some lovely lupins in Shad Bay. Ryan's up next with the weather forecast. Please stay with us.
The weather update is brought to you by Tourisme Gaspésie. Plan your stay in Gaspésie at tourismegaspésie.com and enjoy extraordinary moments.
All right, we are back to talk weather, and Saturday sounds just terrific.
Yeah, that's going to be the best day if you're looking to get outside, soak up some vitamin D. Who's not, really?
Yeah, we need it, don't we?
We do. But yes, the streak will continue.
I know, it's unbelievable.
Sunday, showers, and so yes, is it 13 in a row now?
I think we're 14 at least.
Maybe 14, yeah. All the way back to mid-March anyway, that we have, last time we had a completely precipitation-free weekend was mid-March, so it's been a long time.
But records are meant to be broken.
Yes, July. We're feeling it. And hey, the long weekend, that'd be a nice one to, kind of a long weekend. June 30th in the middle. Have a look at our high. Actually, sir, before we get there, we got to show you this beautiful shot. White Point. Nice webcam shot there, courtesy of Nova Scotia webcams. And it is an absolutely terrific evening. And you know what? Maybe even a beach-going day again for tomorrow. Not hot, but certainly a great day to get out and enjoy along the coast. As you can see, temperatures are certainly beach-going like in Ingonish Beach at 29 degrees, a great beach there, of course, in Ingonish. 29 in Cheticamp, 26 in Truro, 22 in Parsboro. Temperatures into the mid-20s in through the valley, but that onshore flow is certainly making its presence felt along the Atlantic coastline. Sustained winds near 30 right now. We're seeing some gusts in the 50, even 60 kilometer per hour range. Yarmouth and Port Hawkesbury both at 65 at last check, so it is breezy. And ahead of this frontal boundary, which will sweep through tonight, we're going to continue to see more gusty winds from the southwest, then shifting to west all night long. We'll hear those winds. And yes, that next system is really going to build the temperatures in, first to the Great Lakes, and then for us, and our warmest day will be Tuesday. Let's walk you through it. So tonight, chance for showers, risk for a thunderstorm, mid-teen temperatures. Those winds, as I said, go from southwest to west and will remain breezy overnight. The best chance of showers tonight will be the Valley, Colchester, Cumberland, and the Northumberland shore, closest to this low. By 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, we've already cleared the skies in the west and central. It's the east, Cape Breton, and the North Shore, where the clouds are going to linger and could see a couple of spotty showers there Saturday morning. Looks like Cape Breton, you folks should be cleared by about lunchtime. Lots of sun into the afternoon, and temperatures are going to be summer sweet here, early summer sweet for our first full day of summer. Onshore winds from the west. So that means, Cheticamp, Mabu, Port Hood, you folks are going to feel that onshore flow. The water temperatures, 12 degrees. So that's going to impact temps there. Ingonish should squeak up to 16, should get into the high teens. Sydney, 17, 18 degrees, near 20, Port Hawkesbury, Richmond County, Sherbrooke, Eastern Shore. Favorable setup here for you folks to get up to 25, 26 degrees. Similar story through central, mid-20s for most. A bit cooler, Tatamagouche, New Glasgow in those onshore winds. And back to the west, again, temperatures a bit cooler in the onshore westerlies for you folks in the Tri-County area, but a beautiful day for most of the region, and all of the region, in fact. Even those temps near 20 are going to be nice. Should mention, kind of skipped over that, Cape Breton, by the way, will be gusting upwards of 50 kilometers per hour from the west throughout the day on Saturday, so continuing to be a bit breezy there, and even the Northumberland shore. Okay, Sunday, southerly flow back on the menu. And this, again, the European model that you're seeing here, it has been consistent with the system all week, although it is kind of weakening it a little bit. So showers into the mix on Sunday, but doesn't look like it's going to be one of those days we got to hunker down for the entire day. So just watch the radar, keep your eye on the sky, and hopefully we can get out and soak up maybe a couple of breaks of sun toward the afternoon and evening. Now, as we look at Monday, that low departing, quiet, warm front building into the region, and as a result, we are going to be looking at some clouds. And how about Tuesday? High 20s, so we'll definitely see some 30s by the looks of it right now anyway in the north. Chance for afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, and those temperatures are going to be dropping off as we work our way into next week. But how about this? You can see the Humidity really surging up into the truly tropical range. So not only hot on Tuesday, but muggy as well. And then that cold front will come through and the mugginess will be here for a good time, not a long time.
I did a little research. I think you're right. I think it's 13. So maybe we won't reach 14.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yes, here's hoping.
All right.
Sure.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Coming up, we take you to Eskasoni to learn the history and significance of a traditional Mi'kmaq instrument. Welcome back. Tomorrow is National Indigenous Peoples Day, and this is National Indigenous History Month. Throughout the month, CBC Indigenous is exploring Indigenous music from coast to coast. In Mi'kmaq territory in eastern Canada, a wooden splint rattle instrument is used to accompany Mi'kmaq Gojua songs and dances. And CBC Indigenous reporter Sissa Mohan visited Eskasoni, Cape Breton, to learn the history and significance of this traditional instrument.
This is a jigamahan, and today we're in Eskasoni to learn how to make one. We start in the forest near Eskasoni, guided by Mi'kmaq cultural educator Michael R. Denny. Our goal? to get to the roots of a simple but significant instrument. We need the perfect white ash tree, tall, straight, and nearly free from knots.
Nika is nicht too wide. The wood is almost armor nicht too wide. Like it splits. You're not going to use that. You're the one.
Denny has found it. But first, he offers tobacco and a prayer to the ash for its sacrifice and to its new role carrying songs and traditions. And then you offer it to the tree?
Yeah, I'll put it on the tree. A jigamakan is a traditional Mi'kmaq instrument that we use to accompany when you sing traditional songs.
Back at Denny's house, he speaks of resistance and what instruments like the jigamahan mean for the Mi'kmaq. In the 1940s, centralization forced Mi'kmaq onto reserves like Eskasoni.
They would dance, play waltz, and just to get together and sing and dance, they would goju. And at the time, it was illegal for us to do that. So when they'd have somebody kind of keeping an eye to see who was coming up the hill or up the street or whatever.
This is why the jigamahan's simple design is so important. If the RCMP or an Indian agent came, they were easy to hide.
Either they were broken apart, or they were chucked into the wood pile, or they were just chucked into the wood stove, and they were just burned.
It was also easy to just make another. Denny starts by splitting the ash into blocks. He carves out a piece where the growth rings are tighter, then shapes it until it's smooth and symmetrical. An axe head is used next. Once the growth rings split, the jigamahan is created.
It makes that clapping sound, jigamadesk. The name, of course, comes from jigamadesk, or the sound that it makes, to jigamakan, so the one that makes the jigamadesk sound.
The jigamahan is used for gojua songs. The dancers do a 3-step dance, also called gojua.
So whether you're a Mi'kmaq in Geskabegia, or a Mi'kmaq in Nadwakanik, or Medabanagia, or Bodlodek, or Issasonik, or Ilsetkuk, wherever, the songs come from this land. They come from our territory, and they come from our families.
Where
so
do I
start at the top, right there, yeah. Pound it nice and hard. Remember, you're swinging an axe.
What do you mean?
Watch where you're swinging the axe. It works.
That is so incredible.
And then I make it pretty.
Yeah. Denny shares his teachings at workshops across Mi'kma'ki. But here in the house, he learned to gojua from his mom. And in the forest where his father shared stories and lessons in harvesting. He's passing on the same teachings, his people's history, and the jigamahan's legacy to his daughters.
Yeah, my hope is that, they're going to be my legacy. That they're the legacy of what what my mom taught me how to dance, right? I want to say that, well, you girls, you guys dance like grandma, and that's because I dance like grandma.
This story is part of a feature taking a look at Indigenous music across Canada for National Indigenous History Month. Watch Resonate, Songs of Resilience Free, beginning National Indigenous Peoples Day, Saturday, June 21st at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on CBC News streaming channels, CBC Gem, and CBC Indigenous YouTube channel. 2 people are dead and 3 were taken to hospital following a rock fall in Banff National Park on Thursday. Coming up, a painting at the heart of an $11 million lawsuit has been found 4 years after vanishing without a trace. Welcome back. European ministers met with their Iranian counterpart on Friday to help bring an end to the Iran-Israeli war. Though there was no breakthrough, hopes were raised that Iran would participate in future talks. The escalating war was also the focus of a meeting at the UN Security Council, which Iran had requested. Meanwhile, as Chris Brown reports, Israel and Iran continue to exchange missile and drone strikes.
If there is going to be a diplomatic solution to this war, the path to it remains very uncertain, as top Israeli officials said again today that their country intends to continue with the war it launched against Iran until the nuclear threat from Iran is dealt with Iran countering by saying it won't negotiate anything while it's under attack. European foreign ministers are nonetheless trying, and the first steps happened in Geneva today as they met with Iran's foreign minister. As the meeting broke, they emphasized that there is no military solution to the issue of Iran's nuclear program, only diplomatic ones. Here's David Lammy of the UK.
We are keen to continue ongoing discussions and negotiations with Iran, and we urge Iran to continue their talks with the United States. This is a perilous moment, and it is hugely important that we don't see regional escalation of this conflict.
Donald Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff is apparently also in the mix as well and talking to the Iranians, according to U.S. officials. In his remarks before the talks, Iran's foreign minister portrayed his country as the victim here.
We were attacked in the midst of an ongoing diplomatic process. We were supposed to meet with Americans on 15 June to craft a very promising agreement for peaceful resolution of the issues fabricated over our peaceful nuclear program. It was a betrayal of diplomacy.
The minister went on to say that by targeting nuclear facilities, Israel is committing a war crime. But that argument is unlikely to sway the Israelis or the Americans, who have accused Iran of dragging out pre-war talks deliberately to try to stall for time. In the meantime, both sides are continuing their attacks on the other. Dozens of people were injured in Haifa when an Iranian missile struck there, part of a large barrage that also caused hits in Beersheba and other parts of southern Israel. Israel has vowed to step up its attacks on Iran to increase the pressure on the regime leaders, which they also continue to do today, striking numerous targets in Tehran and also far beyond Iran's capital. Chris Brown, CBC News, Jerusalem.
The House of Commons is now voting on Bill C-5 before it rises until September. The Speaker of the House has approved a Bloc Québécois request for 2 separate votes. One vote will be on trade barriers. The other concerns legislation that would give the government power to fast-track approvals for major projects. David Thurton reports.
What got accomplished during the session, do you think?
Not a whole lot of anything.
Not a whole lot of anything.
Mixed views on this parliamentary sitting.
It's been really busy, right? Last 6 months has been go, go, go.
Go, go, go for a new prime minister with a trip to Washington, a cabinet swearing in, and a king's visit. The opposition noting how much of the government's agenda remains incomplete.
The Prime Minister's 4 weeks in Parliament were filled with broken Liberal promises. Broken promises on spending, broken promises on the tax cut.
Mr. Speaker, tax cut for 22 million Canadians by July 1st. Check. DST off of homes for first-time home buyers. Check. And today, Mr. Speaker, and I invite the honourable member to join us, the bill to build Canada strong, the bill to build jobs in this country, create opportunity right across this land. Check, Mr. Speaker.
Mark Carney's major projects bill is on track for a final vote. The bill enables the government to approve projects up front, before environmental reviews are complete. It also hands cabinet ministers sweeping powers to override federal laws.
Where are the breaks in this legislation, and why are there no reasonable limits put in this legislation so that this government can evoke the confidence of the people?
The transport minister suggested politics were at the heart of those concerns.
I guess I'd like to understand whether you are concerned that as a result of this legislation, we will build too much, whether as a result of this legislation we will get too many major projects built.
Excuse me, I think that is actually a very pejorative way of characterizing my concern, and Canadians are concerned.
The bill also faces pushback from Indigenous peoples, concerned the law bulldozes their constitutional rights. Liberals are confident that they'll get the bill passed tonight, and then it's off to the Red Chamber, where it could face some challenges there. Senators want to make their own amendments. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
Rescue crews in Alberta have resumed their search in Banff National Park following a deadly rockfall that killed 2 people and injured 3 others. It happened near Bow Glacier Falls Thursday afternoon. RCMP say multiple hikers were struck by the rockfall. 2 people were found dead at the scene and 3 were taken to hospital, 1 by ground ambulance and 2 by air. The conditions of their injuries are unknown at this time. Parks Canada says response teams remain on scene, conducting searches for any others caught in the rubble. Bow Lake remains closed to all visitors. The mother of a toddler who went missing for 4 days and was eventually found safe has appeared in court. She faces charges of child abandonment. We're no longer naming the mother due to a publication ban to protect the identity of her daughter. A bail hearing has been set for July 3rd. After the court proceeding, the woman's lawyer made a brief comment.
As of right now, it's a person that's in very high distress. It's somebody who needs help. Right now, the defense is trying to get an exit plan for her in order to get her help as soon as possible, and that's pretty much where we're at today. So there will not be any other comment at this point.
A police drone spotted the little girl on Wednesday along a highway about 50 kilometers west of the Quebec border. Colorectal cancer is one of the most preventable and treatable cancers when caught in the early stages. Yet in Canada, it remains the 2nd deadliest cancer due to delays in detection. Christine Birak looks at new calls to lower the screening age.
It was within a month.
Their stories are unnerving.
There was dark blood in the stool.
Young, seemingly healthy, and yet close to death.
We knew that there was a colon cancer happening, but when he said stage 4, my mind went blank. Like, I couldn't process words, I couldn't process thoughts. Quick to start getting.
Colorectal Cancer Canada says it's not clear why the disease is rising in people under 50, but this ad they're filming will push to change the screening age.
We are advocating that it be lowered to start the screening at 45 years old.
In most of the country, the recommended screening age is 50. Lowering it could come at a cost.
An investment does have to be made in, about 1 million more FIT tests that will have to be done, and perhaps maybe another 500,000 colonoscopies will have to be done.
Simply poke it into the stool?
FIT tests are stool sample kits gathered by patients. They're inexpensive, but if they flag an issue, a colonoscopy is needed.
Do we have the resources and the capacity to take on additional colonoscopies?
This study, Screening Age with Cancer Incidence, Mortality and Costs, used modeling to predict the impacts of early colorectal cancer screening. It suggests screening at age 45 could lead to approximately 12,000 fewer colorectal cancer cases and about 5,200 fewer deaths over a 40-year period, concluding lowering the screening age may be justified, but evaluation of colonoscopy capacity is necessary.
Adding this additional work onto what colonoscopists are already doing is what one of the concerns is.
Still, he thinks screening younger people would be beneficial. More countries, including the UK, are considering a similar shift. However, the vast majority of colorectal cancer cases are in older adults. Even with screening available, up to 40% of them aren't using it. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
RCMP are investigating a double homicide in Lake Winnipeg Cottage Country, and they're saying the killer is still at large.
We have major crime services investigators on scene right now. The property has been secured, pending, the investigation involving, search warrants. Our forensic identification section is going to have to go through this area.
Officers said they responded to reports of gunshots early Thursday morning. The incident happened in a residential area in Victoria Beach, roughly 100 kilometers north of Winnipeg. When police arrived, they found a 29-year-old man and a 41-year-old woman dead at the scene. Police are now looking for a person of interest who they believe took off from the scene in a white truck traveling down Highway 59 before officers arrived. No other suspect description was provided. Police say both victims are known to police and they believe the murders were targeted. They add the risk to public safety is low. StatsCan is reporting a boost in retail sales for the month of April, but preliminary figures are showing the same won't be true for the month of May. Scott Peterson has the breakdown.
Consumers might be running out of gas, and that's the latest from Statistics Canada today. Early estimates show that retail sales will slow in the month of May by 1.1%, and that would be the biggest monthly pullback in a year. In April, retail sales were in positive territory, however, up 0.3% to just over $70 billion. That's collectively what we all spent together. And in April, that increase was led by car and car parts, up 1.9%, as more consumers tried to buy pre-tariff inventory. Sporting goods, hobbies, furniture, electronics, and appliances all saw gains in April, and sales at clothing retailers pulled back. Gasoline sales also fell 2.7% in April, with the consumer carbon tax ending and gasoline prices coming down. Economists are worried about the uncertainty of U.S. tariffs on consumer spending, along with high household debt levels, and say if U.S. tariff disruption continues to impact the Canadian economy, there will be even more belt tightening in the months ahead. Scott Peterson, CBC News, Toronto.
Many people may have experienced it, near misses at intersections while crossing the street. CBC News has obtained new video of these dangerous incidents happening on Canadian roads. Lisa Shing shows us what pedestrians and cyclists are facing and the calls to make our streets safer.
These dangerous close calls caught on camera happen every day at intersections across Canada, according to a new study.
Every time you walk on downtown, you're taking a big risk.
They tend to turn even when it's the signal to go for pedestrians.
Have you had any near misses at intersections?
Yes, a few times.
What was your reaction?
Like, almost peed my pants.
Now there's data to back up the anecdote. The Canadian Automobile Association commissioned a study that used cameras at 20 intersections in cities across the country, recording more than 600,000 incidents over 7 months, where a pedestrian or cyclist was almost hit. Most were cars making a right turn.
Based on the near misses that we collected, over one potentially fatal near miss per day per intersection happens here in Canada.
So you might think the more people and cars in a city, the higher the likelihood of a close call. Traffic volume is a factor, but there are bigger considerations.
It's about how we build and design our streets and the types of vehicles that we drive. Bigger vehicles are more dangerous and more likely to hurt people. They take up more space on the road.
The study recommends more dedicated left turn lanes, more advanced green lights, and allowing pedestrians to start crossing before vehicles.
These are all lights.
Then there's the human factor.
I think people are busy. Toronto's especially a very kind of bit of a rat racey city. Everyone's got somewhere to be.
Have you had any near misses with cyclists, pedestrians?
I don't necessarily find that they're always careful. Like, they don't wear helmets, they don't always pay attention to stopping when they should.
The CAA hopes this kind of data will drive municipalities to make improvements faster to prevent injuries and deaths. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
4 years after it was reported missing, a painting believed to be by one of Canada's greatest artists has resurfaced, but some of the mystery surrounding it remains hidden. Farah Morali has the exclusive details.
So I have a wonderful surprise for you, Farah. This is Dr. Murray's Tom Thompson painting that we have recovered.
A glimpse of a painting so few have seen in real life, and until just a few weeks ago, was missing.
We were very, very pleased that it had been recovered.
In January, CBC News first investigated the disappearance of the roughly 8x12 painting, a depiction of Tea Lake Dam in Ontario's Algonquin Park. It's believed to be an unsigned painting by renowned Canadian artist Tom Thompson. Its owner, Michael Murray, says in 2015 he arranged for it to be sold at Toronto's Waddington's auctioneers and appraisers. After they told him the painting wasn't there, he filed an $11 million lawsuit. Court documents show the auction house initially denied ever having it. That is, until last month.
Mr. Bookman called me and said, "You're not going to believe it, but the painting has been found. It's at Waddington's." And it was almost disbelief.
So where has the painting been since 2015? A lawyer from Waddington's told us they can't comment because the matter is before the courts. Murray's lawyer says all he was told was that the painting was found in a climate-controlled storeroom in the facility.
We would always leave from...
Though now found, Bookman says they're still moving ahead with the lawsuit, seeking damages for the years the painting was missing.
So 10 years, it's been gone.
Murray says while he's relieved it's back, he still has many questions.
There is an interest on my side to kind of understand, how it could be missing for 10 years and then all of a sudden show up.
A mystery Murray acknowledges he may never unravel.
There's a lot of similarities between that mystery and, Tom Thompson's mysterious passing.
For now, he's looking to find a buyer for a painting with a backstory more colorful than the pigments on the canvas. Farah Morali, CBC News, Toronto.
The weather update is brought to you by Tourisme Gaspésie. Plan your stay in Gaspésie at tourismegaspésie.com and enjoy extraordinary moments.
Okay, we're back to wrap things up, and it sounds like tomorrow is the day if you want to get out and garden, go for a walk, just do anything outside, right?
Maybe the beach.
The beach, that sounds good too.
Yeah, it's not hot, but warm, and so if
and dry.
And dry. And dry. The most important factor for sure. Have a look at our viewer picture of the day. Have a look, and we're going to zoom into Cape Breton and just outside of the Sydney area, and this is Christie's Beach, Georges River. And a fantastic shot here.
Oh, so pretty.
From Rosemary Woods. Lovely.
Wouldn't you like to be there?
Yes. Saturday.
Yep, definitely.
Great spot to be. As you can see here, temperatures will be a little bit cooler in Cape Breton, particularly for Inverness County, with those onshore westerly winds, which will be 30 gusting 40 to 50 across Cape Breton for Saturday. So a bit breezy there. The North Shore as well. Likely we'll see some gusts upwards of 50 kilometers per hour. Sustained 20 gusting 30 to 40 elsewhere across the mainland. So a bit breezy, but a really nice day. Lots of sunshine. So get out and enjoy. There's the forecast for Sunday. Increasing clouds. We'll see some showers rolling in into the afternoon. And yes, that will bring with it, obviously, a bit cooler temperatures into the afternoon as well. It looks like our temps will likely peak based on the timing of that system in the kind of the late morning, early afternoon. Here comes the system. There it is. Increasing clouds Sunday. There are those showers, and it does look like with that low, things will kind of be quiet into early next week for Monday, with that heat really building in for Tuesday. Not only the heat, but the mugginess looks to be a factor on Tuesday as well, Amy. We'll see the cold front come through. It looks like right now kind of late Tuesday with showers and a risk for thunderstorms, and then quieter in behind on Wednesday.
All right. Well, this week, the sky above Fana Island in Denmark was very, very busy. Have a look at this. It was the 40th anniversary of the region's Kite Festival, and thousands of visitors from more than 20 countries converged on the Danish island. This year featured more than 25,000 kites. Hard to pick a favorite, but this 100-meter-long Indonesian kite was a big draw.
With its wide, flat beaches and steady winds, the area has become a prime destination for enthusiasts.
That is something else.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is it for us tonight. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great weekend.